Hello and welcome. This is Cherie with Rehash Fiber, and I am back from Montana and the Copper K Fiber Festival. It was wonderful. The scenery there is beautiful, and I'm going to show you that in just a second. And then after that, you'll get to see all about the Copper K Festival. But what I want to say is that it was super special on all accounts. The location is fantastic. There is nothing like being in the wide open spaces. It's in Whitehall, Montana, but out in the country. And so you see all the beautiful country and all the mountains all around, and you're at a fabulous barn location. That was wonderful. It is a smaller festival, so there was time and space to really get into it. I was there for the full 2 days, and I enjoyed going to each vendor's booth, really talking to them, learning about them, their craft and their items, and having time to look at all their items. That is what made it really great. So I did a lot of shopping. I did a lot of video and photographs. When I wasn't doing that, I was knitting and spinning with the other people and visiting there. So it was a very wonderful time, and I do want to share it with you. As I take you through the festival here, there are a few vendors that I really connected with, and I'll share with you a little bit more of their information. Paul and Sherry own Montana Wool Barn. They have a processing mill, their own sheep, and their own wool products. Prior to the festival, they gave me a tour of their mill, and I will show that to you next week. They also had a booth at the festival, and it was really fun to see them, visit with them, and get to see all their products up close. I was thrilled to meet Stacy of Drezzo Family Farm. I already knew about her because of Instagram and seeing her images that she posts. So it was really great to meet her in person. We shared stories of children, and then I got to learn about her farm life and animals and their interesting drive out to Montana, and that was just really fun. It was great looking at all the items that she had, and I was intrigued by this super soft, squishy yarn that to me looked 4-ply. However, when I asked her about it, it's just 2 different colors, but really marled. And it kind of looks like it's cabled, but it's not. So, and her label is super fun because she says 100% wool and some VM, which I don't feel or see it, but I think it's funny because sometimes it's there. She has hand dyed this with plants or food waste from her farm. And she said the skein is compliments of Riley and Violet, the sheep. So I'm very excited. I do believe I want to make a woolly hat with this.
Yeah, good for you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yes, no. Yeah.
As a spinner, I was delighted to come across a booth full of spinning wheels. They were so unique and beautiful. I met Mark and Julie. They are the owners of Athena Spinning Wheels. They are created and designed by them. He gives us an up-close tour of the wheel here.
Steel orifice, so you just wind it in and wind it out just like that. Not a traditional orifice where you lose the hook all the time. The flyer itself, when it's time to change the bobbin, it just pops off. There's a magnet in here and a dimple on the side, and there's a flat on the shaft. So you put it down like that and spin and it locks. It's a direct drive wheel. There's no drive band. So when you treadle, you're moving a large flywheel. This spring back here pushes this wheel against here, causing the flyer to spin. The reason we did that is so we can change ratios easily. Down here you're at 5-to-1, up here you're at 13-to-1, and you can be anywhere you want in the middle. If I'm treadling and I'm going a little too slow and not getting enough twist, I'll just speed it up a little bit. And then you lock it down like that and you're good to go. But wait, there's more. This comes out, these pop out. You put this back here so I don't lose it. This pops out on this side. This nut comes off, and it comes completely apart. If you can see on the corner over there's one in a travel bag. People take these to spinning events, stores and RVs. They weigh right around 10 pounds for base models. Put this back in here, slide this back in, put this in place. So I'm leaving the pivot on this point down here. On this side, you have 2 places where you can plug the equipment into. If you plug in here, it biases or makes it easier for the wheel to go this way, which is clockwise for your Z. Spinning, when it comes time to ply, you plug it on this side, the other side of the center line. That makes it easier to go the other direction.
Mark did share the story of how they got started on video. However, there were extreme audio problems. And so I'm going to try to tell you the story right here because it was such a cool story. 7 years ago, neither of them were spinners, But Julie, his wife, wanted a spinning wheel. He's an engineer. He started building them. 2 years and 17 wheels later, they had the wheel perfected to what they wanted. And he figured they're done. Then some friends were over for dinner and said, "Why don't you sell these?" And he said, dang, it went off in his head, yes. So they went to a show with their wheels, and nothing was purchased until the end of the first day. And it was Heavenly Bresser, who is very well known in the spinning world. She went home, made a video, hundreds of people watched it, and their business got jump started. So I thought that was really cool. So they did a fair amount of shows each year, except for COVID year, wiped out a lot. And now they're back doing shows. I just love their story of success. I love that it was built by them, and touching the wheels are phenomenal. The wood is beautiful. It's smooth, solid. And as he showed us, they break down quickly, get back together quickly, and they're easy to transport. So it's just a beautiful wheel.
So my wife is a spinner. She made me learn how to spin so she could get bathroom breaks at the shows. I told her I wouldn't enjoy it. When I finally figured it out, I realized it is quite relaxing and fun. Notice this wheel is different than the one I was demonstrating on. We do our primary wheels, our base wheels are maple and walnut with a maple flywheel. This one's maple and walnut with a walnut flywheel. We also do African wood called Paduke, which is really a pretty wheel, and we also do some wood. My wife likes to spin while watching TV, scooched all the way back in the sofa. And the cool thing about this wheel is with the shaft coming up at a 45, whether you're 4'2" or 6'3", the further you push away as you're taller, it aims further high, further up. And if you're short, you have it closer, so it's aiming lower. So one of the features I didn't show before is the variable ratio. So down here you're at a 5-to-1 ratio. I guess I did show that. Up here, you slide up, you're at a 13-to-1 ratio, 2.5 times faster. I typically spin somewhere around here. Let's say if I'm going along at a steady pace and I'm not getting enough twist, I'll speed it up a little bit. If I'm getting too much twist, I'll just slow it down a little bit.
It's very very smooth. And she's I do too, but another booth that had me completely captivated was Slate Falls Press. The owners of the business are Eric and Joanna Johnson, and they specialize in knitting storybooks. She is the author, he is the illustrator. They have a wonderful line of children's books, and in addition to that, they have other knitting pattern books. He has some of his prints for sale, which I indulged in. And they have cards and other things. They were so happy to share their story. They started off with their idea. They are self-published and they are successful. Everybody was loving it. Just very, very beautiful items to have. Eric had his easel and paint set up, and in between sales and visiting with people, he was painting. Very lovely to watch. So I have these treasures, and these pictures are great because the animals are wearing knitwear and dining. And in this one, it's a yarn and fabric store. And in our world, who doesn't love that? Such a pleasure to meet them. I want you to check out this very whimsical booth. The business is called Nest Boutique. Shannon is the owner. She and her husband were there working the booth for the weekend. She has wonderful items. She has created art and jewelry from old knitting needles, the straight knitting needles. Very clever, very fun stuff, and ladies were flocking to buy this. Also, her yarn is super cheerful. I was drawn to each area of yarn, and this right here made me think of a party, kind of like a kid's party. But we all have that kid in us, and I was like, okay, this is for me. And her husband put the black light on it, and it glowed. So now Halloween is going to be extra fun this year. Great stuff. So take a peek at the things that she has here. And I just really enjoyed talking with them. They are very interesting and fun and have had a lot of experiences, and it was a pleasure. I'm very excited now with all those extra knitting needles that I have, that I can now pass them on to her and she can create something lovely with them. Thank you for coming along on that journey. There is going to be some more next week. We will visit the Montana Wool Barn, and I'll show you a little bit more about that area of Montana in case you plan on going there. All right, everybody, happy fiber travels, and thanks for watching.